Okay, so we wanted to do remembrances of our mom, who we lost 2 years ago today. So we're here at the Paris LDS Temple, which she would have loved.
I just want to go around and watch Lila, okay?
Okay, stay with Lila. So, 2 years.
Yep, 2 years.
Any thoughts?
It's been a long 2 years.
It feels simultaneously long and short at the same time. I can't believe it's been 2 years already and that it seems like it's been so much longer. And then I have moments. I had a moment just before we came where I was doing something and I thought, oh, I should call Mom. And it was a weird, because I had a lot of those moments in the early days of when she got sick and after she passed, but I hadn't had one of those for a long time.
This made me think of when I finished my mission, Sue and my parents actually came to Italy to help pick me up, and wandering around France and seeing all the cathedrals and all the places in Italy makes me think of France, and Mom, and seeing all that stuff. And I think she would have really liked it. We went to Versailles today and Sue was saying how much she would have loved the gardens and how beautiful it was, and cathedrals and the temples and the history.
Yeah, I've thought that a lot too. She loved the cathedrals and the beautiful things. She would have hated that I brought the children to France. If she were still
I don't think
alive
she would
and
have
well.
hated it. It would have just made her nervous.
It would have made her nervous. She didn't want us more than a bedroom away at all times. So she would have been not terribly thrilled that I came and brought the kids for a month. But
well, I think she just would have. It would have made her nervous.
She would have called daily
to check in on them. But she did bring you to Europe when you were still a teenager.
She was nervous.
She was nervous.
It would be interesting to go back and see if, now that I'm a mother, was she more nervous than I am? Like, was she holding my hand more than I'm?
Well, you were much older. If she'd had little kids, she probably would have been very similar to you. Well, she probably would have not brought little kids on a trip like this, because that would have been too nerve-wracking for her. I think even going to California, it was probably a lot for her with the little kids. But then again, she had 8 instead of 3.
Which is probably so much harder.
So much harder.
But I did think one of our very first days here, we passed a gelato stand, and we did that a lot in Italy. We loved the gelato, so we'd go almost every night and get gelato after whatever we had done that day. So that made me think of that trip as well.
And that was a big trip for her, but she'd always wanted to come to Italy, always wanted to go to Europe, and so...
I think that was the only time she went to Europe, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Did she go when she was a child?
I don't think so.
When she was after high school?
She went to DC.
DC.
I think it was DC. I don't know.
But she'd always wanted to go to Europe and wanted to see all the art and the beautiful buildings and cathedrals in Europe. So that was a big trip, but she did it and she loved it and had a lot of fun. It's a good trip.
Yep.
Yeah, she would have loved to have been here.
Yep, she would.
With us. Yeah, it's like you said, it's been a long time, but also sometimes feels like a very short time.
Yeah. That's it.
Love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
So I miss it, Grandma, but now that I realize it, the most memories that I thought of her just came up for the past couple days. I've hardly remembered, but I remember one day, I can't remember if it was out of random. Grandma was watching us and Nick asked, "What if you lived in an upside down house?" And I said that I thought it would be super cool, on and on and on. And Grandma said, "Well, I'd have to be an upside down person to live in an upside down house."
Sounds like her, doesn't it?
Yeah. Grandma was the person who taught me to fold socks and I think wash cloths. She taught me quite a bit on how to read. She didn't teach me like A says A, but she would read to me and I could look at the words and I understood what she said. I loved having Grandma, and the remembering her, I guess, is better than being Alex. But at the same time, it's not. He didn't know her that well, so he'd be wondering what she's like, but also it makes him not miss her like I do. So I think if you asked him, he'd say stories that may not even be correct, but he's just little. And when I remembered Grandma, she was the most amazing person. So today's the day that my grandma died, and so
2 years ago today.
off the seat. 2 years ago today, our grandma died, and so we wanted to do this video in memory of her. One of my favorite memories is going to her house, and we would pick out a book from the toy room, and we would bring it to her, and she would get us on her lap, and she would read to us. Another of my favorite things was when we stayed over for like lunch. Instead of like normal like wheat bread, she usually had white bread, and we usually had PB&J. And then another of my favorite memories is when we were little, I said, what if you lived in an upside down house? And then I was like, that would be cool. And then she said, like, stuff on and on and on. And then I said that she would need to be an upside down person to live in an upside down house.
You're silly, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that all?
Yeah.